Welcome, FNUSA57 here. I'm back on my Xbox One, and today I am playing Gears 5. This video is going to be what I consider to be the best builds for Clayton Carmine when you are playing Escape and when you are playing Horde. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. This is also based off of the way the cards are currently working at the beginning of April. Now, they may be changed later on, but I'm going to answer all your questions, your do's and don'ts, what to use for Clayton, what not to use for Clayton, and just go over how he works. So, this is one of the new characters in Operation 3. They made it a heck of a lot easier to get. You can go into the store and you can buy the character for 500 iron. You can also make the totem for the character for 100 scrap, and then all you have to do is earn 30,000 XP with that totem equipped, which is ridiculously easy compared to unlocking the characters from Operation 2. There is also an Operation 3 bundle that you can buy if you want to unlock the characters immediately and get some extra goodies, including a weapon skin set. But moving on from that, there's a lot of stuff with Clayton. He's designed and classed as a tank, and he does do that. He also does a decent amount of damage because he can stay up by tanking. So he's playable in Escape and Horde, but I would say he's more of an Escape character than a Horde character. Same thing with Cole, but again, both of those characters can be used in both game modes. As far as for multiplayer purposes, that's entirely up to you. Now, starting off with where I believe the characters are used best is going to be Escape. So, as you can see, my character is level 18. I basically have all of his cards, except for one maxed out. And if you need help on farming character XP or earning cards, both myself and my buddy Flash have videos posted on the best card and character XP farms. And as you see, he has an ultimate ability called Reflective Shell. While active, deflects all ballistic damage back to the enemy. That does not work entirely accurately as to how that description is posted, but then again, this is Gears, so why do we expect anything to work entirely accurately? The passive ability is also damage you take slowly recharges your ultimate. So a small percentage of the damage that you take goes into recharging the ultimate ability. Now, this is the Escape setup that I run, and we're going to go over pretty much all of his cards. And unfortunately, there's a number of good cards and a number of bad cards, but I do want to note that you can finally get Epic Score Boost. The reason why I only have that at level 1 is they had to actually put out a hot fix in order to unlock the Epic Score Boost card for both Clayton and Cole. However, there's still a couple cards that don't work right, and I will explain which ones you can take full advantage of. So for my Escape build, it's pretty much straightforward, and what I like to run is Team Resist, which basically makes it so that when you use your ultimate ability, all of your allies receive a 90% damage reduction for 5 seconds. It's pretty much God mode, especially in Escape. In Horde, you've got so many things shooting at you from so many different directions. Obviously, it's still possible to go down, but 9 times out of 10, for those 5 seconds, your entire team is going to stay alive. They're going to be able to get back into cover if you're trying to revive somebody, or if you're just trying to sprint past that last enemy to get to the door, you can do so with that Team Resist ability. Keeping in mind, this is what I use on Escape. I also use Bait Armor. Now, Bait Armor is not enough to save you from like a Boom Shot or a Salvo Scion, a Guardian, something of that nature. But it does give you that little bit extra damage resistance when you're trying to just slide into a piece of cover or get close enough to that first enemy to go ahead and melee them. I think it helps out a lot. Because of the way the cards are, I do use Grace Period. Now, Grace Period gives you up to 3 seconds of immunity upon being revived. It's not useful for solo play, but it is useful in a group. 3 seconds is not a lot, but it gives you just enough time to try and finish that slide into cover, or say you go down, your teammate walks up, picks you up, and the enemy that's right next to you decides to melee at the same time. Instead of putting both of you guys back down, it will put your teammate down, but at least you'll still be standing. Then I also use Soul Survivor, because this does not work according to how it states, which no real surprise there. I don't know if they will ever fix it. Reflective Shell ultimate ability recharges 300% faster if Clayton is the only surviving teammate. That works no matter how many teammates you have. The ult still recharges 300% faster. Crazy, but, well, seems to be expected. The other card I use, which is also a little bit broken, is Phoenix Armor. At level 5, you get 50% armor on respawn after death. Well, for some reason, when you start an escape match and you come out of the pod, it counts as you have died and respawned. So you get that 50% armor. Very useful for speed runs, not necessarily that useful for anything else. If you wanted to swap Phoenix Armor out, I would swap Phoenix Armor out depending on the map and whether or not you have a Keegan for either concussive rounds or heavy deflect. Heavy charger works, but not so well in escape, so just keep those things in mind. Currently, you could also swap out Phoenix Armor for Reflect Shredder, but Reflect Shredder is one of the cards that does not work. Moving on to the Horde setup. Now, Horde is a little bit different. You will notice that I run different cards. We're going to take that card off because I was testing that card. And basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave that slot blank. And I'm going to show you the cards that are pretty much an absolute must-have. So obviously Soul Survivor to get your ult back fast. Heavy Charger, because you're going to be that kind of fifth character where you're going to want to be using heavy weapons, preferably tri-shots and salvos. So that's an excellent card to have to make your ult come back even faster. And then concussive rounds. Now this card I would never take off in Horde, because any explosive damage, whether it is direct damage or splash damage, so grenades, torque bows, boom shots, GLs, salvos, anything like that, drop shots, anything of that nature, puts a 3-second stun on enemies hit with it. And when I say 3-second stun, it's literally they are completely stunned. They just stand there. Like, they're confused as to what's going on. So it makes it easy for you to get a follow-up headshot or hold an enemy in place. I haven't tried to stun a boss with it, so I'm not 100% sure if you can. But you can stun wardens and things of that nature. So like the mini bosses, warden stumps, guardian, sentinels, that type of thing, you can actually put the 3-second stun on there where they won't shoot and they really won't move. So pretty helpful, especially if you have like a warden coming in, he's at the wire, pop him once with a torque bow or a single salvo rocket, whatever that might be, and then the JD can unload and kill him instantly. The fifth card is entirely up to you. I would take Reflect Shredder, hands down. That would absolutely be my fifth card, because at level 5, when you reflect damage while Reflective Shell is active, it deals 50% bleed damage. So you get that claw across the map that's shooting you, or that sniper across the map that's shooting you, and the damage is high enough to down them, but they just get revived because there's no bleed damage. So it's like, whatever. I've tried this card multiple times. It doesn't work. You don't get the bleed icon. Once the initial shot reflects and hits the target, that's it. It's all the damage there is. So at the moment, his ultimate doesn't work, which is very disappointing that it does not work with that legendary card. The rest of them, like at the moment, you could use Grace Period. You could also use heavy deflect. Both of those cards are decent. It just depends on your team. I would not recommend bait armor because it's not going to save you at the later waves, especially on Inconceivable and Iron Man. Blast shield, freeze resist, ice armor, phoenix armor in this case, and practice every day are all meh cards. Very situational. If you don't have anything else unlocked, you could use them, but I would not recommend it. Especially because practice every day's biggest bonus is the fact that it bypasses the reload during reflective shell. But even using a buzzkill, you only get a couple extra blades before the 5 seconds of reflective shell ends. Now, depending on how they change another one of his cards later on, that could be worth it. If you don't have anything else unlocked, then I suppose the faster reload speed would be nice. If you are playing with a Lizzie in Escape, Uncle Clay is nice. But I don't think it's as nice in Horde. And then, of course, you have Score Boost and Priority Target where you can taunt enemies. The taunt is decent in combining it with Reflective Shell, but because Reflective Shell only lasts heavy seconds, it's not really worth it in my opinion. The last card is Heavy Shell. Now, please, please, please do not use this card right now. This card is half broken at the moment. It is not 100% guarantee, but I have tested it in both Horde and Escape. It does not add an additional 5 seconds to your ultimate. Reflective Shell lasts for 5 seconds without this card and reflects projectiles without this card. So I really don't understand what the point of this card is, but in Escape, if you are using this card at the end of the Escape run as the door is closing and you reflect a projectile with your ultimate with this card on, it disconnects everybody from the game. Now, I tried to duplicate that in Horde, and I had it happen once, but it wouldn't happen the rest of the time. I tested this in Escape, and 3 out of 3 times, with me doing it personally, it did that and disconnected everybody. And then also when I was running with some random people that were playing Clayton and using that card, they did it and it disconnected us as well. So be very, very careful when using that card. I would not even have it equipped until they fix it. And hopefully they will fix Reflect Shredder very soon. That's basically it when it comes to Clayton. His ultimate battery, even at rank 5, 3/10 of a second per hit for allies in 10 meters. Does not apply to friendly fire in Horde or Escape. And unless you're playing on a low difficulty, it's not really that useful. The cooldown reduction just is not adequate per shot to make that a worthy card even for Horde. So keep that in mind. That's about everything when it comes to Clayton. He does start with a Retro Lancer and Torque Bow, which is a relatively powerful loadout. So he is nice, but it's entirely personal preference, up to you. I think Cole's also good in Escape. If you want, check out Flash's build video for Cole. We'll both be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have about the characters. Anyways, that about covers it for the Clayton Carmine build. If you have any questions, just ask. I'll be more than happy to help out in-game. If you want to add me, we can do some farming. You're welcome to join. I primarily play Horde and Escape. If you have any questions, ask away. If you enjoyed the build, please do me a favor. Go ahead and like it, share the video. That greatly helps out the searchability of videos here on YouTube. And, of course, subscribe for more content. Until next time, my fellow Gears, stay frosty.